Oh, my bad. Okay, cool. So for the next 4 weeks, we're gonna, like I mentioned, we're gonna dive into an Excel sheet. Okay, it's not gonna look very sexy. This is not intended for that purpose. The intent is to learn how to make decision. So before we get into any of the training, this is something I always do when I do any training is I ask you for 2 wins and a challenge. Now we have quite a few people, so every session we might not do that, but for the intent of this session to get to know each other, I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear your name, what you do in a day to day, and then 1 win. A win is anything you're proud of. You help coworker pull this report and it helped them find the answer for X. A client said this about me. I helped older woman cross the road. I took all my vitamins this morning. I worked out. I drank my water. So any of the wins I want you to share with us. The reason is because a year from now, you're going to be in front of your manager and they're going to ask you, hey, so what did you do the last year? Like you're up for promotion, what can you tell us you did? And then you're going to look at them and say, see what happened was that I did some work, I think. And so you forget, right? And so I want us to take in to have the habit of highlighting our wins so that when you get to that moment, it's easier. And this is one of the wins. So you don't get to use joining the program as a win. So that's one of the rules because that's the win. So I'll take my example. I'm Ellen Parker. I'll be hosting all of these trainings. One of my win is that last week we launched a pretty cool project with Media Math by Infiliant, and I'm super excited about that. And I'm already helping them catch a few, human errors, looking at their processes. I'll be helping with the business development side, so I'm super, super excited about that. And then a challenge is it's summer and the kids are home. And so it's a whole lot, okay? It's a whole lot. So hopefully you won't see any of my coworker bust into the door here. But that's what I'm expecting everybody to share. Okay. So your name, what you do on a day to day, and then your wins and a challenge. All right. So Preeti, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. So, as you know, I'm Preeti Mahajan from Ascend Digital, and I'm like in day to day, I'm winning in some kind of a way because I'm handling a client from start to end. So everything is on me and my team. I'm handling a team as well for them. So yeah, that's it. So we are working on multiple tactics like demand gen, YouTube displays, and all. Yeah, we are daily winning in my opinion for me.
So you are account management or you more on the buyer trader side?
On account management side.
Got it. Okay, cool. So the next person on my list is Monica. Tell me, well, Monica, your name, your day to day, a win and a challenge.
Actually, she's not Monica. He's Gaurav.
Uh, yeah, sorry. I need
Oh,
to
hi.
rejoin
Sorry about that.
account.
Okay, tell me
Yeah,
your
I
wins and your challenge.
used one of my. I used one of my personal account. After the intro, I'm gonna join with another account. It's my. Yeah, my name is Gaurav Gobli. I am
Okay.
an account manager for two of our clients.
Uh-huh.
I look after end-to-end requests that we receive from the client, uh,
Uh-huh.
right from the scratch to the end of the campaign, and then recap, report, everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so you're more on the reporting side. Oh, it looks like he froze. Okay.
So sorry, my internet just froze. Can you please repeat what did you say?
Oh, I said, can you so you're more on a trader on the reporting side?
No, no. I look after each and everything, right from the campaign setup, monitoring, optimization, and then reporting part. I look
Okay,
after
okay.
each and every task.
Got it. So you're the trader. Okay, cool, 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 cool. All right, thank you for sharing. The next one on my list is Michelle.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I am in AdOps for a company called Wattpad Webtoon. And so I handle also end-to-end campaign management, trafficking, optimization, and reports for the direct side. And one win I've had recently is I've taken on some new offer wall campaigns. It's a new product and it's been going very well just in terms of figuring out all the technical implications and setting up all the different MMPs and connections. So that's been great. One challenge is actually part of the reason why I joined this program, which is I am being transitioned over to the programmatic side of our business, which I have zero experience or knowledge in. So I'm diving in headfirst here, hoping that I can absorb as much knowledge as I can over the next few weeks.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Nandini.
So hi Ellen. First of all, good to see you.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm handling end-to-end campaigns like ad trafficking optimizations, reporting, monthly billing, and yeah, and my challenge is I don't know about like DSP side platforms. Don't know about a lot of things like CM360 and DV360. I know about like Google Ad Manager and all this stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so you're more on the social and search AdOps
Yeah.
part. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing. And last but not least, Shubhra. Yep. It's okay. I see you looking for your mute button, girl. I got you. There it is. No, I can't hear you. It must be Tuesday. Somebody had to have some. Did you figure it out? We could come back to you, okay? If you need it. Okay. Okay. So welcome back to Shubhra. Wait, maybe. No? Okay. Welcome back to her in a second. All right, so let's get started. Thank you so much for your feedback and your introduction, everybody, because now I know a little bit better on how to, navigate and gear and answer some of your questions. So again, just because you've never done this or you've never seen a DSP, or if you're just starting, let's say, not just starting in the industry, but for the case of Michelle, just getting started in her department. All questions are welcome. All comments are welcome. You're also more than welcome to email me separately if needed. And if you did some of the videos from the Thinkific account that I shared with you, that's just the content library. That's where when we do a more extensive, like an 8 weeks long or 7 weeks long program for more junior level employees, we start from beginning to end. So that's why the first few module in the Thinkific account that you have are more, what is programmatic, the difference in the landscape. I still recommend that you take a look at that. It's a good refresher. A lot of people tell me like, oh, I had no idea that this is the difference. I had somebody tell me the other day, I never understood the difference between ad server and ad exchange. And I said, whoa. Whoa. You've been in the industry for quite some time. It's like, were you Googling every time? What happened? So it's like the little fundamentals that we don't think we need to understand. So I recommend you watch everything. for the purpose of this call, I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm going to walk you through some of the assignment on my second screen here. And then, again, if you have any question, I guess raise your hand. Did I give you everybody a raise hand or whatever? It's under your react button. It's a little heart for my friends who are not familiar with this. Desktop. Hold on, yo. Go ahead and close some of my message systems. Okay, cool. All right, so I just dropped in the chat access to this, and I'll email it right after. And in one of the, either the welcome email or, oh no, it wouldn't be the welcome email. It will be one of the optimization lessons in that those show notes, the description of those videos, there's access to this. But again, I'll email it right after. This is the optimization folder that we'll refer to most of the time. So in the first one, you'll have access to all the recordings. Yes, you guys sign up for to learn, you gonna learn, okay? So all of these videos have been done with previous cohorts, and every single one of them are super helpful. You have access to all this content for, I think for you guys, I did 90 days for the next 3 months. So July, August, September, I think, maybe more, I don't know. I'm happy also to grant access a little longer because there is a lot of material here. If at any point you come into, I don't know, the one with frequency recency, you'll see that there's a video. Most of them are about an hour long because this is what we do, right? And I'm always walking people through. It's almost the same report. If you'll notice the same report because I want it to be consistent, but eventually I'll update this report for the future cohorts. And so everything should be semi-consistent in terms of like the data that I'm using. It's just a difference in what we're optimizing. So you're more than welcome to check it out. There's the June session that I'm still uploading here. There's some edit that I need to finish up. So this should be in here. The team is finishing up this week. So the June session should be in here in the next week or so. So you're more than welcome to watch that as well. The only difference between the June session and all the other ones is that in June, I did start introducing ChatGPT as part of the process. And so what I mean by that is that I'm going to walk you in the next 2 weeks, starting today and next week. I'm going to walk you guys on how to make the decision the manual way, the way that we should be doing now, right? How to decide if the site list should be included or excluded, or app list in some cases, how to decide which SSP or supply vendors to keep working with and how not to work with them and things like that. And then week 3 and 4, we'll continue doing that manually. You guys will present. Okay, so week 3 is where you'll let me know at least the first half of your assignment, what you found. And again, I'll walk through this in a second here. And then week 3 and week 4, we'll try to compare. Okay, if we did this manually, what would have ChatGPT did, right? So we have some prompts that I'll walk you through. I'll share some of the template and then you play with it. But my hope is that you use this content and you remix it to your client's need, to your agency's standardization, to your company's process, and then just adjust based on your advertisers or based on the publishers and people and companies you work with, okay? And so feel free to review some of this content here. It's very relevant. It's very helpful. Now, the optimization guide is what I'm going to review here in a second, but the assignment is very easy. This is the financial service Excel sheet is what you will need to download onto your desktop, and that's what we'll use moving forward. And so, yeah, so this is it. Yep. So I always have this downloaded so that I can show you. So my advice would be, before the end of the call, to try to download it. It's a lot of data. I've had people share that it takes time to download, so just give yourself grace. If you have a Mac, it downloads faster apparently than the PC. So if you're a PC guy or PC fella, just be patient. Just be patient with your computer. The optimization that I wanted to show you is this one. Make a copy of a copy. Okay, I made a lot of copy, but this is also something you should probably download and then have on your computer. It just shows you all the details. So like for my traders, this is the type of information you would receive in your media plan. Okay, so like the media plan will tell you, oh, the financial service is doing the FSB. I think I referred to it as the FSB brand in some of the recording, and then you'll have the goal, you'll have the conversions. And so I'll walk through this again in a second here, but these are like the assignment that you'll present 2 weeks from now. So I'll do it with you now and next week, and then after that you'll do it on your own and you'll present. Okay, and then week 3 and week 4, this is when we're introducing some of those prompts. But I have to preface that I made this because at the end of the day, we have to report to somebody, even you, Michelle. Like at the end of the day, you have to go back to your publisher and share your insights, or you have to go back to the advertisers that are going to buy programmatically, or the DSP partners that you'll be working with. And so there's some level of report. So from a trader perspective, our reporting is the way we tell the client, we did good, we did not do really good, but this is how we fixed it. And so this is a template I've shared in the last 6 months with some of the cohorts, and they found it super helpful because all they had to do is fill in the blanks and update. This is also what we are using in ChatGPT. So like in ChatGPT, you'll see me in June, in session 4 of June, you'll see me and Meg, because that was the person who showed up that class. She walks through it and then we test it in it. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, we are good.
Perfect. Thank you, Gaurav. All right. So, okay, so let me get into the first part of this. It's really important that, again, make sure you have access to this. I shared it in the, what is this called? The meeting chat, the comment chat, whatever, DMs, whatever it is. So make sure you have access to that and start maybe downloading the Excel sheet and the Word doc as we go through this. And then the optimization guide is a very, very helpful folder for anyone, because we're going to use it to help us make the decision. So first thing first, what is the definition of optimization? Because let's just be on the same page. So who can give me your version of optimization? What do you do when you optimize? How do you understand it? Who wants to give it a shot?
A simpler way in what I think is optimization to a campaign is to improvise its performance. Just to improvise its performance. And what we say is I'm part of words, sorry. If anybody wants to continue.
So improving performance. All right. So how would you go about improving performance?
First I would like to I would like to go deep into the campaign and know what is the main important KPI and what exactly we need to improvise. First of all, we need to download the certain reports, and look into this and analyze what kind of optimization is required. Based on that, we can decide a plan and whether what to work and what we can exclude, or what we can include, or rather we can raise the bids or change the audience. Depends on what metric is important.
Thank you for saying that. So you're absolutely right. So I think one of the most important role or responsibility of a trader is to optimize. We don't always prioritize, I think, with our day-to-day, and then for some agencies, for instance, because the trader is the SME, the subject matter expert of the DSP, they're pulled into different direction. And so for different agencies and teams, it looks different. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for the DSP setup, yes, but the management of the performance. And when I take a step back even, it's up to us traders to make sure that this business is retained by performing the best way we can. Okay. So like salespeople can just rotate, like they can add new accounts here and there. But this, if the account, most of the time, the account stays if we do really well at what we're supposed to do. So our role is actually really important for the company, for the for the survival of the company, for the growth of the business. And so this is an so thank you, Gaurav, for sharing. This is an optimization checklist. I have changed it, updated, done all type of things. But I think this is like version 7, I think. But I think it's the most relevant version. So the first thing you want to do is, I share this optimization checklist with all traders. I said, this will help you optimize in 15 minutes if you do it the right way and if you follow the checklist. So let me walk you through. And I need to walk through this before we get into the Excel, because I'm going to use this in the Excel. So the first thing you want to do is understanding the campaign objectives and all the KPIs depending on what you're doing. And so at the end of the day, campaign objectives or the strategy includes, so the KPI, it includes the targeting. Targeting is audience, geo, sites, whatever is inside the targeting, the message, and then the overall objective. So the strategy is, again, KPI. Is it a CPA, CPM, CPC, whatever it is, ROAS, lifetime customer value, whatever you want to call it these days. Targeting would be, where are you targeting, who are you targeting, what we're using to target. Message is really important, because I've been on many training calls before, whether it's one-on-one or as a team, where the traders will go straight to the insight. This is what we're doing, but I don't know why it's not performing. And then I'll ask questions like, okay, well, the audience looks like it makes sense based on what we know. Setup is what is done right. But okay, so what's your creative? What message are you serving these people? Oh, I don't know. It's not my responsibility. Yes, you're right. Designing the creative is not your responsibility, but you should at least know what message you're serving to your people. That's really important, right? And so sometimes we forget. So at least QAing that part of your setup is important, but not stopping just at the message. Very often I've caught mistakes where the message say, welcome, open your checking account. And then the landing page says, I don't know, stock trading, right? It's like, if I'm targeting college students to open a college checking account to a bank account, and I'm sending them to stock trading or the best practice with stock investment, I don't know if they should know, right? But I don't know if that's relevant to them yet. Like, they just want to go to college, open a checking account and be, and go do college stuff. So that's really important to understand those 4 things, okay? So KPI, which is that number, CPM, CPC, whatever it is. The targeting, which is audience, geo, and whatnot. The message, which is the landing page or the creative. And then again, the objective. So the objectives can look like, the client wants to come to us because they want to sell more cars. We can't sell more cars, right? But we can send the right people to the landing page where that model should be, where the promotional car should be targeted, and then have them test drive, right? Or have them submit for the people to call them back. Like, that's the type of action we can help take. But in terms of like selling the car model, it has to be done maybe in person, unless you're at Carvana. Here in the US, we have a brand called Carvana. And then you can buy like a vending machine, and then they deliver the cars to you. So I'm not using that example. I'm using the local dealership that is around the corner selling cars. So that's the really important, is like, you have to be aware of those 4 things. The best way to be aware of those 4 things, or to confirm, is by looking at media plan and by doing a QA of your setup. I already set up this account. I was the one who set up this account, Ellen, so I know what it is. But I always tell the programmatic ninja to go back and look again. You may have missed something, especially if you don't have QA processes, so that before the campaign launch, you verify your work or the setup, and somebody else verify the work. And then 3 days later, and then 2 weeks later, there should be QA in three phases. If you don't have those 3 phases, every time you optimize, I recommend you QA. Now, for this example, we don't have a DSP. We don't have a live DSP to look at. So we're going to assume that I've QA'd and the setup is done properly, okay? So always conduct a QA. The third thing before you can even look at your report is, are you tracking? Are the pixel firing? Very often we'll see no conversion, and we assume like, oh well, it's the beginning of the campaign, but it doesn't matter if it's an hour or 2 days or 2 weeks. You should see fires happening. Like you see some numbers onto the tracking pixel, which is different than the conversion tracking. So let me explain. Everybody knows what a tracking pixel is? We're comfortable?
Yes.
Perfect. Just in case, a tracking pixel is a piece of code we add into a website so we can track how we perform, or we can track users' performance, we can track audience and things like that. So the DSP allows us to place that pixel. Most clients use Google Tag Managers or third-party tag managers where they place one containers onto their website so that when we have multiple marketing tracking pixels, it can be all under this one container, okay? And so tracking pixel allows us to do that, to track if somebody saw my ad, click, or saw and then went to the website. It gives me the opportunity to own or earn the credit for that. And so in all DSPs, there's always like a tag management dashboard where before you even track conversion, you can see, okay, this is firing. So it does not matter with some DSP takes an hour, so some DSP take a day. But after a couple of days, you should see something firing on that pixel. If it doesn't, then most likely you won't be able to track conversion. That's a problem you need to address before you can optimize. Now that's assuming you're allowed to track, okay? Because there's still, like I know like in the pharma and healthcare industry, or vertical rather, not all clients will allow you to track. So that's not the case here, right? Like if you can't track, obviously it's okay. It's the client saying no. But if you can't, then you have to confirm those three. So now I understand my objectives. I've QA'd my setup. I know it's tracking and firing and everything looks Gucci. Now I'm going to go into my Excel. The best practice is always to schedule your appropriate reports first. Okay, so schedule it. If every Monday you are looking at your financial brands, right? Advertiser, Gaurav is pulling on Monday, he's looking at Mercedes brand, then you should schedule the report to come Monday morning or like Sunday night even, not that you're working on Sunday. So that as soon as you log in on Monday, you download the report of the last 7 days, last 14 days, last 30, 90 days. It depends. Whatever it is, you want to be efficient, so schedule those reports. Sometimes I would schedule the report every day of the week. I had a focus on a different vertical. So I had educational clients at colleges on, I think it was Tuesday. And then I had this local furniture store, and that was my Thursday. I would focus on that, and I would do industry research, and optimize that client. And then on Friday, I will recap and then update my note taking and send it to my insight, or send it to the reporting people. So that's what you want to do. And when you're inside of your report, honestly, focus on the high and lows. Always remember, all right, I'm in front of Excel, the high and low. How do you decide on the high and low? Well, you have to, again, those three things, the first three things. What are the objectives? What's the KPI? What's the highest? What's the ad group or the line item or the strategy? Because in media math, it's called strategy, but it's an ad group. What's the ad group with the highest KPI that we're supposed to aim for, or the lowest one? We start there. We start with the lower one because, well, if you're not performing in this ad group, you're wasting, most likely you're not being cost efficient, excuse me, right? And that's not what we want to do. We want to be cost efficient, because there's no such thing as waste. And then high, if something is working really well, what did I do in this ad group that I can maybe replicate in other ad group? And so you do your high and lows. In this checklist, I have something called the optimization grid. I'll show you in a hot second here. You schedule your report. You have to have a note taker, because I know for a fact you don't want to trust your brain. because there's 1,000 things in your brain right now, including, did I drink my water? Did I take my vitamins? Did I remember to pack lunch for our kids? Did I put water in the dog's bowl? Is traffic going to be bad? And then all of those things. And then you got to remember what you did. So don't trust your brain. Please have an X-Men note taker. Best performing inventory, low performing inventory probation list is a concept I'm teaching. So I'll show you that. And follow the rule of thumb. I don't know if you know, but if you make more than 1 to 2 changes per ad group, you're most likely it's too much, right? The rule of thumb is 1 to 2 changes because you want to be able to track your adjustment. And then each session, you should allow yourself 15 minutes, and I strongly believe that, to 45 minutes. If you're 2 hours in it, you got to take a break, go do some jumping jacks and come back later, because like you may not be as productive as you need to. It shouldn't take you that long. Now it had taken me pretty long to find the issue back in DSP. So that's different than, viewing the report. And then you just repeat and rinse and repeat to make the decision. Okay. And so this is the simplified optimization grid that I have. And this is how, everybody can see, because like I can't even see for me. Okay, boom. So the optimization grid helps you prioritize your time. You only got 15 minutes and you have 10 more to do today. Tomorrow, all reports have to go out, like in the worst case scenario, right? Hopefully you're better organized than I was at some point being a trader. But what do you do? Like, okay, I have this CPG account and I know that is a cost per order of maybe, I don't know, $45, because it's a luxury brand or whatever. And I don't know where to get started. Well, this optimization grid helps you get started. So obviously, if it's a CPA or CPO, a cost per, then it's a conversion base. So we know that the objective is consideration or action. So it's a conversion, right? And so this is where I will start looking. I'll come right here and be like, all right, if I only have 15 minutes, what should I look at first? You can look at anything where there's an X first. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to ignore the base bid or the ad format. It just means if you only have 15 to 20 minutes to look at something, because your call is in 25 minutes, you can pull a report, look at this, implement the checklist, and boom, you have something to talk about. Notice that site and supply have an X everywhere. Why do you think this is the case? Who wants to give it a stat? And frequency. Why do you think frequency, site, and supply have an X everywhere?
Because we don't want to overwhelm the users with our ads.
Say that again, because there is a back sound. What did you say?
Okay. So we don't want to overwhelm our users with our ads. We don't want to overexpose the ads to users.
Yes, frequency is always a good start. Yep. I would also say that site and supply are always, when all fails and you don't know, site and supply is always a good start, because this is what we have to bid on, right? This is what Michelle is doing on the other end, is managing this inventory so that we can buy it in the auction. At the end of the day, there's so much of it, right? It doesn't matter how many brand safety, fraud prevention, ad verification tool you have. There's so much of this inventory. It's important to look at it more often than you want to admit out loud. We have to include, exclude. We have to work, especially in this day and age, when we hear things like SPO, supply path optimization, when we hear things like sustainability, where we are trying to save our planets for our children and our pets later on. Like, all of these are important. So if you start by looking at your site list or the SSP list, ad exchange list, ad exchanges list, then you're at least 20% ahead of the game. Okay. So when all fails, look at your site, because of the inventory, like the capacity to have so much access to this inventory. Okay, so you can always start there. And then, like I said, if you're just doing a delivery campaign, oh, the client just want awareness, we have an impression-based campaigns. You can still look at all of those targeting levers. But if you only have a few minutes, you can start with frequency, site supply. You can look at the base bid, and then you can even look at something like time of day, and then go from there, adjust from there. Now you'll notice that I have the acronyms here, campaigns. It's just an acronym I taught. It's like, I think it's 11. Excuse me, I think it's 10. So there's 10 targeting levers. The targeting levers, and this is maybe a refresher for some of you, or maybe it's new information, that's okay. The targeting levers are everything we have, are all of the settings, the setups we can adjust, like Gaurav was saying, to adjust for the performance that we need to aim for, right? And so the targeting levers are everything that, you know, you should look at to recalibrate the performance if it's not going the right way. So you can look at ad formats, you can decrease or increase bidding on the ad format, or the creative message, or the creative size. Again, so ad format, size, message, all of them are in this targeting lever. Data element is audience segments, audience element, honest data segments. It's your audience, okay? The Trade Desk calls it data element, DV360 calls it audience segments, MediaMath calls it audience. Actually, they have another one, Brain, which is a seed audience. MediaMath call it Brain, you know, like it really depends. It's just your audience. Who are you targeting, okay? Technologies are devices and browsers, but it could also be the device model. So you can target like iOS 13, 14, 15, whatever it is these days. You can target all the same Samsung. You can exclude the older version as well. So model, make, browsers. Browsers will be in the technology. So if you want to target Chrome users, Safari users, mobile web, things like that. Fold. Who wants to give me the difference between above the fold or below the fold? So I heard from Preeti and Gaurav. Let me see if I can hear from somebody else. I don't think, Michelle, you should answer that because this is publisher language.
I was just gonna raise my hand.
Yeah. I was like, you're excluded from this question, okay? So who wants to? Shubhra, can you talk now?
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yes, I can
Yeah.
hear you. All right. So talk to me about the difference between above the fold or below the fold. What's the difference?
So, to what I understand, above the fold is basically what we get above the requirements, and the below the fold, that is under delivered or something like that.
Okay. Not exactly, but that's a good, but I understand why you said that. So Michelle, tell us what above the fold means and below the fold. That was a good guess.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's where the ad sits on a device when you first open it up. So if it's above the fold, you're going to see it on the screen first thing when you land on that page. If it's below the fold, you'll have to scroll a little bit, or you might only see part of the ad, image or video, whatever it might be.
Okay. Yes. Basically. So see how I just clicked on essence.com and then see this right here. I didn't scroll up or down yet. This is above the fold. This is what it is. Okay. So boom, Essence. Okay, all right. I was gonna say there's something missing here, but it just took a minute, right? It might be my Wi-Fi too. So everything above the fold is considered, I mean, everything here is considered above the fold because I haven't scrolled down yet. Below the fold, it starts like as soon as I start scrolling down, you'll see a below the fold. And then like you even see sometime you'll see what is it called? Skyscraper these days. This is the 728 by 90. That would be here. And this website is not here. Or here goes 300 by 250. So when you see that in your report, and you'll see what size is this?
970 cross 250 billboard.
Okay, thank you. So that one is 970. So this one is the higher impact, right? The IAB higher impact, whatever the IAB told us to call it. And so when I go on my report, if I see 970 by, which one you say, 970 by 240?
250.
250. Okay. When I go to 97 to my report and see 970 by 250, excuse me, then I'll be like, oh, this is probably a really big one on a web page. And so this is what I'm referring to compared to like the 300 by, what is it? 300 by 600, 650, 640. Dang, I don't remember none of them these days.
There are many.
Okay, so this one doesn't even, oh, there it is. I love to click on it and to see who's running this campaign. Anyway, okay, cool. So this is what we mean by above the fold and below the fold. And I'll even throw you another fun fact is that this was a term borrowed by print newspaper, like the publisher in print. I think the above the fold used to be before they fold it, like where it shows, and then when you're opening up the newspaper, that was below the fold or inside the fold at some point. So like it's borrowed from the print industry. And so I thought it was really cool. But back to the grid. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to look at our grid and be like, oh, dang, I haven't looked at sites in a minute. Let me go ahead and look at the sites. And just so you know, this part of the grid is just telling you like, oh, if you don't have a template already created for that, these are the type of metric that you want to pull. And then because this was inspired by the Trade Desk, I just add like the Trade Desk helpful standard, but the standard template, what it's called, but usually like most DSP will have these stuff like a conversion template or click template and things like that. Oh, this is the rest of the campaign. So like the acronyms that we created, and I have a white paper. So if you hopefully if you scan this, it'll still work when my phone's not working. It'll send you to a white paper. I think it's just a few pages where I go and define each of those targeting levers. So if you've never seen what a frequency look like in that white paper I show like on your report, it's called this. I'll have 24 hours or I have the 12 hours and things like that. And so I is for inventory supply side, G is for geographical area, your geo. N is for number to start with or the base bid or the max bid. And then S is the schedule of day and hour. So your weekly schedule. And so all of these, you should have access to pulling it from your DSP. I don't know about Google Ads, Nandini. I don't know about that one, but I know for the DSP, you're able to pull some of them at least. And so if I'm able to set it up in a DSP and I set it up, then in my report, I will have data for each of those and I can make adjustment. Okay. And I'll show you in a hot second here because we're coming at time. This is just another view to let you know like what it looks like, what you have access to. Okay. And so this is a cheat sheet. You can take a look at it, but I wanted to show you this one. Okay. So the grid that I just showed you, the simplified version, this is the advanced version of the grid. Okay. So I like to show the other one. So when you hear me say the other one, I'm referring to this one. Okay. I like to show this one first so you can just digest this information, but eventually you should only operate in this. Okay. Because in this one, I really went into detail. I want to give a big shout out to our L&D consultant. She works with us. Her name is Aisha White. If you are not following her on LinkedIn, she's phenomenal. She's also in the Women in Programmatic Network. If any of us women on the call, if you're not in the Women in Programmatic Network, you should be. There's a global chapter. I'm pretty sure there's a chapter, what would it be? EMEA, EPAC for you guys? There's a chapter everywhere. Anyway. So she helped me create and update this to make it more, more digestible. So I recommend that you operate off of this at some point. When you upgrade from this view, you come here. And so this one, you'll see that I have more details: awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. So like for the zero party audience clients, like the survey-based clients and things like that, or some of the CPG retail only operates on lifetime value. So this is where you will look at. But in this one, I give you like recommended KPIs. Okay. So like if you see that a client wants sales and reach, like don't be surprised, right? So those are just recommendation of outcomes and goal. And then your optimization focus, I just basically give you extra detail on how, like, what does that mean, right? Like, what does that mean? What are you trying to do? And then I have the report dimension on this one, and then I have the standard. So that means that if you go for the standard impression win rate, CPM, date, conversion, cost, then you should have in your dimension like line item or ad group creative size so that you can pivot. So what I mean by that is if I am in this one, so this is what I mean by your dimension. So dimensions are the one that you can probably come over here and do this. Boom. Oh wait, it's a lot of data, so it's gonna be a little bit cool. Okay, there you go. So the dimension allows me to pivot under like this, and the metrics are the columns right here. So like for each of those, it's a lot of data. Each of those size, I'm able to say, oh, this size is performing well. This size is not performing well. Oh, this size has X amount of conversion compared to this size having X amount of conversion. Okay. And so if I just give you a quick example, okay, boom. So I'll come back and be like, oh, well, for this ad group, the behavioral small business ad group, it really looks like the 300 by 250 has the most conversion for TC3 for this third conversion. Okay, this is sum of three. And so it cost me about $51 per CP for the conversions. Wait, I spent $51. Sorry, it didn't. This is not an average. This is a sum. I spent $51. So the CPA might be very minimal and things like that. You know what I mean? And so I'll go through some of this process next week because we're almost at time. But at least you have the ability to create it on your end. And then the advanced report metrics are just, anything that can give you extra information. And so in our cases, like if you have the app or URL, if you have a CRM that you're running in your DSP, and then what I would recommend is coming back to this view. And then that's how you'll know, like, okay, well, my conversions, I have a conversion-based campaign, and then I can look at audience segment, I can do this and that. Again, inventory is everywhere. Inventory, site and apps, supply is everywhere. Well, geo is everywhere on this one because we thought about it. And then the environment. And then see how I adjust the frequency cap, because sometimes it doesn't make sense to maybe start with that for conversion or loyalty, right? But it's definitely something you should look at all of them all the time. But again, this is just helping you become more productive. And so this view is literally just a simplified view. Okay. It's just like, oh, so this view, Czech is speaking, replaces this view. The other one is just, maybe I should be like simplified. There you go. Boom. Makes more sense. Okay. So you should have access to this. You should be able to have access to all of these. And then I'm going to open the floor for any questions right after I show you this. Okay. So next week, I'll dive into the optimization in this Excel that I showed you. I'll answer these three, and then each of you will have like an ad group to look at, and then you can answer those questions on your own. But the client is a financial service, is a regional bank. Ad group to optimize, you have to select on your checklist, right? But next week we'll talk about which one. The primary goal for this bank is $5 out of TC1. TC1 stands for, maybe I'll type it up here, total conversion 1. So, boop, okay, well, 0-1, let's say. Conversion 1 is opening a checking account completed. So like it's the action of opening that bank account, and then the thank you page. Thank you for opening your bank account. Boom, 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 boom. That's like the action of that, what the client wants to pay. And in conversion 2 is direction page. Conversion 3 is contact us. Conversion 4 is personal loans page view. And 5 is business loan page view. Now, I only stop at 5 conversion touch point, but the Trade Desk allows you to have what, 22 or 23. DV360 allows you to have upwards of the teens, the tens. Same thing in MediaMath, same thing in most of the major DSP, you're able to add multiple touch points. My recommendation as a trader, maybe something you should do today, is to go back to each and every single one of your clients and advertiser and see how many conversion touch point you have set up. Okay, if you have the containers set up already, like I said, the pixel, you should just, because these are all URL based, right? So you should have the ability to add additional one. In my opinion, you should have between 5 to 10 conversion touch point additional to the main one. Why? Is because what's a bank account these days? I'm just gonna use Bank of America. It's easy. So Bank of America is a it's a nationwide bank here, right? And so if I'm targeting a college student to come open a checking account, I'm sending them to this page, or I'm sending them to online banking, let's say. Okay, so now when they click, they come straight here and be like, oh, this is really dope. Enroll, login, whatever. Okay, let me go ahead and create a new account. Actually, let me go back and see if I can give you another example. Export checkings. Okay, there you go. This is where I would send them actually. No, 23322. It's not a right. 27612. Okay, I was gonna say. Oh, there you go. So, so I'll send them here, right? And if they click on open now, and then they continue begin application and blah blah blah, and then I'll continue. Okay, so that's like that is what we call like the conversion touch point. Like that's how we're going to convert them. Those are the steps they have to take. So this is the landing page I will probably have at TC2, because I want to send page view between page view and conversion drop-offs. Like where is that happening? And then you're over here, but then you see that, oh man, there's like extra point. Are those all different? Get started. Okay, it's the same one. Never mind. So get started would be one of them. But then most of the time you'll target the college student to come open a checking account. But then the college student will be like, oh, well, there's credit cards. Let me see. And then they'll click on credit cards. I want to know if any of the audiences that I'm trying to inspire to open a checking account are going to credit cards. So I'll add it as a touch point. Okay, and so I'll add credit card, I'll add location to see like which one is the closest. I'll add savings, home loans, auto loans, investing, all of the major ones I'll start adding. Why? Because that's the best way for me to build something close to a persona. If I'm targeting small business, the college students, I know they're between the age of 18 and 25 these days, I don't know. 18 years old to 25 years old. And I see that most of these audiences that is enrolled in a college in their first year are open credit cards instead of opening checking accounts. Then there's an opportunity to upsell the client. Then I can go back and say, even though my goal was to target college students to open checking account, we see that they index higher on this, in this page view. Have you noticed an increase of credit cards application approval, whatever, they got to tell us that if we can track. And then we say, well, there's an opportunity to increase this line of business. If you increase the budget by 20%, we'll only allocate to this business. And then we'll have like a specific, we'll have specific creative for that, right? And so that's how you upsell the client. You show the client that you're really studying their data, and that there's an opportunity for them to do more. You see what I mean? So that's what I mean by when you see her TC1 conversion 4.5. So if you're running a campaign today, maybe that's not relevant to you, Michelle, but if you're running a campaign, I recommend you go back and see if there's any other touch point you can add so that you can start building that persona, or start building that next upsell or the next recommendation to think about. You know your client best. If they don't want to do credit cards, maybe that's an opportunity to exclude, right? If the client said, we're good on credit cards, definitely don't send nobody there. But then after a week or two, you see like, oh shit, there's a lot of people going to this page. Exclude the page, exclude people that go to those pages, because those are not the right users. That way you can make room for people that want to open a checking account in the case of our example. Okay. All right. I just vomited a lot for you guys. Okay. So next week we'll go straight into like I said, next week we'll go straight into the reporting. But in the meantime, I know we're at time right now, but I can give an extra 5 minutes if you have any questions. Anybody has questions?
No, not now. I need to go more into the documents that you have provided, the link. So tomorrow we will come prepared.
Yeah. So your role, your job this week, at least for this program, is to review some of those documents. If you have the ability to implement in your day-to-day, try it. Let me know. Ellen, this is not working. This is actually working, but this is that. I'd love the feedback. And then next week you'll start doing your own assignment. Okay.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Cool beans. Well, thank you so much, everyone. If at any point you have access issues, just shoot me a quick email and then I'll send it to you. And then I'll download this recording and everything we just discussed. I'll put it in the email maybe tomorrow, depending on the recording. And then we'll move forward from there, okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Perfect. Have a lovely rest of your day, y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.